Alright, it's been about a week since the new game modes have come out, and we got Blood Hunt, which is basically zombies, but in my opinion, worse. And a shitty Path to Doomsday event that, I think Blood Hunt is a step down from zombies, personally. Because I understand that this is different, but also similar enough where I feel like I can be justified in my issues with the game mode. Because it is the same sort of formula as zombies. You fight hordes, bosses, and then more hordes, and then round after round. This one, at least, the nightmares 1 to 160, which I don't understand why we have so many nightmares, but whatever. At least there is a set 5 levels, or 5 rounds, and it is not, I forget how many it was last game mode. I think it was 20. I think 20 was Nightmare 4. You had to fight 20 waves before you got to Wanda, to double Wanda. So I'm at least glad it doesn't take an hour to get through if you have a bad build or bad luck with the cards you roll. But although it's an improvement, I think that making it 160 is so much. I don't think people are playing that game mode competitively like NetEase might think. Granted, it's new, maybe some people are still playing it, but I think it's going to die down like zombies did, where most people, I don't know if most people had this issue, but when you went to queue with autofill teammates later on in zombies, it took a while. It took a decent amount of time before it found enough people to fill out an entire team, which I think is just people not playing, which is absolutely fair. It's been out for months and they kept extending it and extending it. It's just not worth playing if you're not getting anything out of it. Similar to why I think most people don't even bother or even care about it really, the Avengers game mode, which I'll talk about later. But I just think that there's no need for 160 levels. I understand the appeal of having more challenges and stuff, but I already think that this game mode is made so much more challenging in the way it has you with random cards that are almost always for crowd control, or very rarely do they actually help you with your build. I feel like that's the case as opposed to zombies, where it felt like those made or break your runs. These feel like they have little to no impact on my runs personally. And also the gear is a new aspect that zombies didn't have, which I find interesting, but I do not like the RNG of it. And also, I don't understand why we are now paying to gamble in a game mode where you can just forge stuff for free. Because if you look at the main page, I guess, of the game mode, you'll see that you have the option to buy Uru shards, which to me makes no fucking sense. Why are we doing that? There's no need to buy Uru shards because you get so much useless crap later on when you've already had like your character maxed out and legendary shards, or even before then you get a lot of like shit that's like under level that you can just scrap and then make new level stuff. I never had a moment or even a fleeting thought that I would need to buy Uru shards to craft. Again, there is a limit to how much items you can have. You smelt all that shit, you forge more shit. Half the time you're gonna get more under level shit or worse shit than you already have. Smelt that again, rinse and repeat. I don't understand why we're like streamlining. Oh, here is a case of Uru shards for 100 units. Like, it's the weirdest, most like petty. Like, I understand the revives costing units, right? Fair. Some people have units to spare, or for God knows what reason want to spend units on a temporary game mode instead of skins or emotes or whatever. I just don't understand how you can viably reason that, yes, I should spend 100 units to, I don't know how many there are. I looked at it, like, I took a glance at it. I was never like, I wonder what this, how much Uru shards you can buy for how many units. I never like went that far because I don't really care about spending units on temporary game mode. Stupid. I don't understand it. But again, I don't understand why we're streamlining a RNG focused aspect of this game mode. I feel like we had such a good thing with zombies where you could just restart rounds with better cards. Your upgrade tree, like, granted, this upgrade tree is a lot more detailed and complex and a lot of new abilities and stuff. I don't understand why we had to have the same characters. If I had to guess, they pumped this out so quickly that they didn't have time to implement new characters or think about new abilities for characters. Because Again, not a lot of new things for Moon Knight, new things for Blade. Squirrel Girl's new. Thor feels the same with a little few aspects. I think so does Pun, actually. Jeff, also a few reworks here and there. But again, I think this was just streamlined because they saw the success of Zombies, and that's why we have a new game mode a few months after Zombie ended. Which, again, is a good thing that it came out sooner rather than later, but I'd rather it have come out later to be its own distinct thing or improved version, like how we had the Jeff Winter event, the basically Splatoon with Jeff, where they made it so that there's 3 new roles in the new version. Like, you have a lot more to do than just spraying the map and then covering the most amount of area with your specific team's color. Like, I found that was such an improvement of the old game mode with Jeff that I don't understand why this one was such a step back. Again, it's a different kind of game than it was in Zombies. It's a different mentality, but still, I think that this is such a step down, and it's not fun because you feel like you do tickle damage, or if not, you have a build that deals with the waves, but then they can't kill the boss. Dracula also feels really fucking overpowered. I don't know why there's 30 things going on right where you spawn in the middle of the goddamn map. I honestly feel like, to me, that seems like that should end, and then you focus more on Dracula. The other bosses feel like their specific abilities end after they have a little phase. Dracula's the only one where he goes into a phase where he disappears. You have to take care of the swords. A shit ton of vampires show up, and the swords and stuff and whatever, and then he comes back. And you would think, or at least I would assume, that the swords and stuff would die down or at least be gone altogether so you could focus on him again. No, does not die down. And then he spams the blood tornado. I don't understand that these bosses all have timers to deal with them. Again, if the gear wasn't RNG based, and if we didn't have this thing where our cards are so weak, it would be easier to deal with them. But there's a 2-minute timer, or sometimes 3 minutes. I'm not sure what span of time you have. From my recollection, it's 3 to 2 minutes to deal with the boss before they go into an enraged mode where they almost immediately one-shot you. Even if you have the best armor, I think they one-shot you off rip, which has made this respawn hell, because you'll respawn, one of your teammates will die, you will die immediately after you respawn if you get away from the boss. Sometimes the bosses have abilities that you cannot get away from. They immediately track you, such as Ratatosker's jump. And it just becomes so dull. And then some of the bosses have abilities to get their health back. Like Drac, if you don't stun him out of it, he has an ability to just basically replenish his entire health bar. I don't understand why that's a thing. I understand it for lower levels, but for a higher level nightmare where you do tickle damage and then you don't have enough time to kill him in enraged mode, and then every 5 seconds, or not every 5 seconds, but like every few abilities, he'll just replenish his entire health bar off rip because you can't do enough damage. Crazy to me. It is crazy to me. Same with Cap. Cap dashes you, he can immediately just fucking kill you, even if it feels like you got away from him, you didn't. And then he will randomly get his health back, because you'll think, oh, we'll just like ride it out. We're chipping away at his health bar. We'll ride this out and then we'll kill him, right?
No.
He will outlive it because he has a way to get his health back. And also, this has happened to me once. I didn't record this, but this happened to me. There is a set time for you to defeat the Cap, or at least a boss. I'm not going to say Cap specifically, but Cap is what happened with my team, where we didn't kill him. All of us were still alive. We did not kill him quick enough, and he already got enraged, and that enrage went on for a dozen or more minutes, and then the game just sort of ended, and it said, oh, you lost. And then everyone was confused because everyone was alive. Feels like the bosses and the hordes, but the hordes always one-shot you in the other mode. It was never like, oh, that was a big deal. Same with the bosses, but I could deal with the hordes one-shotting me when I had lifesteal, and if I positioned myself right, I would not be one-shot. And even if I was, it would cost 1 revive, not 3. And I'm assuming it goes even higher because I'm not at 160, which is scummy because I'm sure no one was paying for revives after the 30th time they've extended the game mode. I'd say even after the 2nd time. After everyone was done with the Zombie Nightmare 4 solo runs, no one was buying that. Even before, I think they gave so many that people were just using it for the Nightmare 4 solo runs and then never bought any. I think only streamers or people that were really into getting the highest place on the leaderboards bought them. Aside from that, I think the majority of people didn't buy them. which is what I'm assuming is absolutely going to happen with the revives in this game mode. But yeah, this just feels like a step down from zombies. Moving on to the Avengers game mode, which as far as events go and game modes go, I think this is probably the most underwhelming one. And I'd say the most disappointing one, because it felt like they had hyped this up so much to be something huge. And we're getting more PvE modes, new game modes and stuff, building up to Doomsday. And then I've seen a lot of discourse about this too. I know people don't like the new game mode. I included don't like the new game mode for Path of Doomsday, because I think it's really boring. It's so boring. It is probably the most unfun respawn simulator game mode you could probably have in this game so far. I'd say even the other arcade modes are at least fun because you have a shot at living in interaction. In the Avengers one, you almost immediately die every time Loki even looks at you. So, and then you play as Loki. I understand it's fun to just make people just jump off the map and waste their ults, but also it gets to the point where it gets boring, where you're just like, it just gets stale because you're so overpowered that there's no possible chance anyone could beat you because you have so much health, you have so many abilities. The mind control, which people are thinking that it's them testing stuff out, which for Professor X, which I also agree with. But I just think that it's probably the worst game mode, and I honestly worry that the other Path to Doomsday game modes, I'm assuming if they're going with the Avengers movies, we'll get something for Age of Ultron in a few months. I don't think they've announced anything that I know of, but I'm not that super tapped in. But if they do, and it's an Ultron one, I'm assuming they'll do the same shit, which will be very lazy. I really hope they don't. I honestly would rather them do a PvE mode similar to Zombies and Blood Hunt, where it's an army and then you fight a boss. Or make someone control the boss at the very end with armies and stuff, because this just is so boring, having no healers in the roster. Granted, none of those characters are healers, but having no heals over time or lifesteal from just hurting Loki means that you'll die every 5 seconds, so it's just not fun. The Avengers event was also super underwhelming. I don't understand. I like the photo booths. I think that's the most interesting part of it. Having a sit down to watch teasers that I already think were bad teasers for Doomsday is so weird. It's so meh. Like, I get that Times Square has become real Times Square where it's just ads. It's just used for ads for Marvel Rivals. But still, having to sit there and watch trailers for 2 minutes to get a gallery card that I don't really care about, but whatever. Granted, you get units, but it's only 100. Again, not that bad. But still, having to sit there to watch maybe 30-second long teasers for Doomsday, like back to back to back, where all of them feel so meh and so, I would say, corporate. The Caps one looks straight up AI. It looks like a fucking drug ad, dude. It looks like Cap has fucking mild back pain. It's been affecting his entire life, and suddenly he got it relieved, and I can be with his family again. It's so boring. That shot with him with his kid, it looks so boring. I have mixed feelings about that movie. I'll probably talk about it in another video. So meh. The event was meh. The game mode was meh. And then the lobby screen, which is the coolest thing, not in the slightest am I getting that. At least not until they have a event where they just throw units at you at mass, because that shit costing as much as a skin is lunacy. I already think the emotes costing 500 is stupid as shit. The fucking lobby screen costing 1600, dude, wild. Emote should cost 300. Lobby screen at most 800. That's how I would price stuff. I understand this is a collab, which is probably why it's priced hiked so high up. Oh my god, am I not buying that? I understand some people will buy that and some people say that's really cool. I personally think it's really cool. I just don't think it's 1600 units worth of really cool. But yeah, it's just baffling. I understand they didn't hype this up to an immense amount, but I felt it was still decently hyped up to the point where I was decently interested and excited about the new game mode for Path to Doomsday, with it being PvP 6v1 thing. I thought it'd be cooler. I honestly wish they reworked some of the Avengers abilities and gave them more health. I like that there's a Monster Hulk, but that's not enough for it to be like, oh, this game mode's awesome. Also, no quest stuff. You get nothing out of playing it. The most you get is gallery card and units. So I think that is a huge factor in what motivates people to play the new game modes. Sometimes it'll be out of fun, sure. But if you genuinely do not get anything out of it, even when they add new maps that you can play, there are achievements tied into those maps that it makes it easier to get them when you're guaranteed to get that map, as opposed to randomized chance and quick match or a comp. I just think having no rewards at all, and I get this is like spoiled-ish sorta, but having no rewards at all for that game mode when it's a boring game mode that's one round, that is just respawn simulator if you're not playing Loki, it's just, meh, it's just not, I don't think it's worth the hassle of playing it. Those are my thoughts on the new game modes. I really hope they improve, because I don't want another game mode with Ultron in a couple of months where it's the same goddamn shit. And I don't want Blood Hunt to be the bar that they go for. I would like the bar to be a little more, I don't know, not as RNG focused. Because I'm not trying to do all this like RNG, foraging, gambling, grinding for this temporary game mode. I don't know. I like the game mode, to be fair, but I just think that it would feel a lot more worth it if the cards... It's my issue is mainly the cards, I think. The cards and the gambling and the paying for Uru shards is my main issue. The RNG too, but those are the only things. If we just got rid of those shitty cards and the Uru shard gambling and paying for, I would already be okay. I'd be perfectly content. But that's just me. I'm sure some people love the new system or the new aspects to the game mode. If you do, tell me why, please. Enlighten me, because I am baffled how you can like it past a couple dozen nightmares, because I think it gets tickle damage and respawn simulator. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will probably be making a video about Daredevil Season 2 because I have felt that Born Again is such an improvement, and I'll probably also give a review on Season 1 of Born Again because I hyped it up and I never followed back on it. So those two are coming up probably in a singular video, and that's about it.